Ooh, I don't drink coffee, so this is gonna be real bad. So last week I made a video on how I made my college decision, and it may or may not have been helpful. If you want to go back and watch that video before you watch this one, you can go click somewhere. I don't know where the links are. I knocked over my coffee. But this week I wanted to show you my portfolio that got me accepted into SCAD, Ringling, and School of Art Institute of Chicago, amongst others, in the hopes that if you're applying to any of those schools, it might give you an idea of what you should sort of be looking for. Bear in mind, this is my portfolio. This was done over the course of like a year and a half, and it's far from perfect, but hopefully it gives you a pretty good idea of what I did to prepare. Before I jump into it, just know that it's never too early to start. Every day, every piece that you create is something that could possibly be going into your portfolio. One of my biggest regrets is not starting earlier, so the sooner that you can start, the better. Alright, let's jump into it. So this is my portfolio. It is a massive multi-ring binder that my art teacher helped me put together. Shout out to my art teacher. There's a lot of stuff in here, so let's open it up and see what's up. So this first page is my pastel chalk drawing of a pumpkin that I named Schmumpkin. Schmumpkin is the best name I could come up with, but also Schmumpkin's my favorite piece. I love him. He has my whole heart. This next page has a bunch of vine charcoal drawings of measuring spoons. I really wanted to do something that showed off that I can draw metallic things, because I had never drawn metallic things before. This one was really hard. This was the first one I drew, so I was still getting used to vine charcoal. This was the second one I drew. The reflection was definitely a lot harder on this one. And this is the third one I drew. I think this is the worst one, not gonna lie. The perspective's all weird, and I don't know, could have been better. This next page is a life drawing I did of my friend. If you're watching this video, shouts out. This one's just a portrait drawing of me. This is just graphite. Took me a few days. I hadn't done a lot of portraits in the past, so this one was pretty good. This one's just a skull. This is one of the first pieces I made for my portfolio, and I put it towards the middle because I didn't really like it. The thing that came with starting so late, I didn't have as much time to put in all the effort that I could possibly put into every single piece, so that I had a lot of choices to choose from. So in the end, to meet the minimum requirement for some of the colleges, I had to throw in some pieces that aren't my best, but are just kind of, yeah. This next piece you can like barely see because it's on black paper and colored pencil. This one was a blind drawing that I did with my friend in 3 sort of poses. This is also one of the first few pieces I did. It looks super like sketchy and rough, but that was kind of the point. I took a picture of him in 3 poses, and then I just sort of like did a blind drawing. For those of you who don't know what a blind drawing is, it's when you don't look at your hand or the paper while you're drawing and just look at the subject. It forces you to really look and see the contour. If you haven't tried it yet, definitely start trying it. That should be like one of the things you do every day. This one's a pear. It's graphite. And it's a pear, and I love him. He's so cute. This one's just glasses. Graphite glasses. Another not one of my biggest favorites, personally, because of this background here that I tried to put in. It looks meh. I was still getting the hang of drawing with graphite, so this is why I put it in the middle. This one right here is actually one of my favorites. I really like the fork and the spoon and the cup. This is also in graphite pencil. Really like this one. Took a really long time to make, though. I just did a lot of still lifes and stuff, and it's... the hardest part actually was the fork. I had a really hard time making the fork look like a fork and making sure that all of the shines and the highlights, you know, came through. These still life studies are really good for understanding value, especially if you're doing something like here it was a white cup, a white mug, and metallic utensils. It really helps you develop the eye for value. This one was another still life, this time with vine charcoal. I named it Egg Bowl because it's an egg in a bowl. I'm not a very creative namer, like I said. This is another chalk pastel that I drew of this mug. I don't like this one as much as I love Schmumpkin, because as I said, Schmumpkin has my whole heart and I will do anything for him. But this one's pretty good too. I think the shape of the mug is super weird. The shadow's pretty good, I think, but I think I really screwed up the mug shape. Like, why? It looks kind of weird, huh? This was my very first chalk pastel drawing. I noticed while I was doing this that chalk can give off this really whimsical, childlike look to it, and so I really tried to lean into that really childlike look for the drawing. It's not technically the best piece I have, but it has a special place in my heart because it makes me feel like a child. These were a couple of perspective drawings I drew. The top one is a perspective drawing on an object. I chose this Wii remote. The bottom one is my living room. It's very bare bones because I did it in like 30 minutes. It was like basically right before the deadline. Do more of these perspective drawings. Art schools really like to see that you have a handle on perspective. I took figure drawing classes on the side. I went to my community center and did a few figure drawing classes. They were super cool. I met some really cool people. It's kind of weird at first because I wasn't really used to being in the room with a naked person, but it's really helpful and it'll improve your drawing a whole lot. I'm gonna censor this because I don't want YouTube to take this video down. There's two drawings here. The one on the left is I tried to develop that drawing a bit more. Still looks a bit too cartoony for my taste. And the right is just sort of a quick gesture that I really like the movement of. This is a print of some CG work that I did for a friend's YouTube channel. If you want to check that out, I'll link that in the description. This is some more CG work that I did for another friend's YouTube channel. Again, I'll link that in the description too. And that's my portfolio. Again, if you're thinking about going into art school, I'm going into animation, but if you're just going into anything, hopefully that this portfolio has been helpful for you. I highly suggest that you start early. Go ahead, just start now. Just start now. Just do it. Just do something. I also highly recommend going to the websites of the schools you want to apply for, looking at their requirements for their portfolios. Gives you an idea of what to do. I also really highly recommend going to any sort of portfolio review days. I know that if you live in the San Francisco Bay Area, there's National Portfolio Day in San Francisco every year. If there's some sort of equivalent in your city, state, area, whatever, go to that. I visited Ringling at the San Francisco Portfolio Review Day, and it helped so much. Again, I hope that was helpful for you in any way. Comment down below if you want to see anything more about my college admission path journey thing. I will gladly share almost everything. Follow my Instagram at BalbertArt. It's also in the description below. I post updates on videos and whatever the heck I'm working on at the time. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, do all the things that YouTube people do. And I'll see you next time.